Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and never miss an update from Latestly.
The kind of scripts, the kind of roles that are being written, it's just amazing.
I only do something when I'm completely convinced. Different people are relating to different things in the film.
It's another level of hard work that goes into it.
Were Jalsa possible had the OTT space not become what it has become?
Yes.
Yes. I think because, we're telling stories, whether it is for a theatrical release or in the OTT space. And I know where you're coming from when you say this, but I definitely think that even for theatrical releases, we're pushing boundaries. It's happening that much more in the OTT space, but even otherwise, it has been happening a little bit here and there. So it would have gotten made for sure. There's no doubt about that. Because I remember the first time Suresh came to me, which was pre-pandemic, we didn't talk about Jalsa being, an OTT release. We just wanted to make the film. Of course, then the pandemic happened, and then we realized that Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, is the best platform for us to release Jalsa on, but it would have been made irrespective.
I walked out of the movie hall and I was like, wow, what a film it is. I mean, this is a kind of film they show you typically at film school. This is what cinema is all about. Thoughtful, thought-provoking, sensible, sensitive, all of it. Um, so what was racing in your head while when you signed on the dotted line when you came on board?
It was all of it and more.
Yeah.
It wasn't going through my mind. It had just hit me straight in my heart and my gut. I did not even, there was no way I could pinpoint what it was. All I knew was I just had to do it. That's it. It was really as simple as that for me.
When I heard it the first time, I was like, oh my God, this could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Jalsa so special. That's the reason I think you don't. Also, because Suresh has told the story more as an observer and not um, through the lens of, hasn't used the lens of judgment.
Hmm.
Which is why even when I read it the first time, I was like, no one's right, no one's wrong.
True.
It's
And
all a
Jalsa
matter
is
of perspective.
yeah, and Jalsa is very different in that here are two female characters, both are equally strong, and yet they are trying to come to terms with what has happened to them. Is their journey towards their truth and their survival as well. And at the same time, there is no verbal confrontation whatsoever. You guys are using your pauses, playing the pauses, using those expressions as a tool to convey what you want to convey. As an artist, what does it take to get to that level to prepare for the characters that you have portrayed?
It was all on paper, you know, uh, and you had Suresh pushing you in the right direction, giving you the right cues, and not necessarily just on set. I think we had lots of conversations with him before that. And so we understood our worlds, our separate worlds, the world that we collide in, our lives collide in. And we understood our characters, obviously. So I think it was, those silences were actually, as an actor, I don't think, whether am I using words, am I using silences, it just flows. You're just responding in that moment. Yeah, and of course, because you've read it in the script, you're being guided by the script. But I didn't actually, after the film, a lot of people have said, my God, you all have played with silences. But that's not something that struck me when I was doing the film.
Shefali, for you?
We have the luxury of a camera which catches every small nuance. I mean, it's not, I don't think that you necessarily need words to underline a moment. At the same time, there are words which have been put there with a lot of thought by the writer and the director. And also, when you see Jalsa, you realize that Suresh is very frugal at spoon feeding. He does not do it. He leaves it for your interpretation.
Yeah.
So I think it's great because, that's why, like, I believe that why does a book work better than a film? Because it leaves it to your imagination. When you read, when you see a film, it's out there. You perceive it the way it's shown. But he leaves that space of ambiguity, which I think is great. And also, as Ruxana, no matter how much she wants to express, is she in the place and the time where she can? The place she can is in her own house. But otherwise, where is the place? Whether it's that interaction with that neighbor who comes and she wants to tear that woman apart for making that statement of questioning her daughter. What is she going to do? So it's all of it put together.
What the energy exchange was like, and we're not dealing with words here. Of course, we're talking about silences. So in that space, exchanging energies, reflecting energies of each other, what does it work like?
No, when someone asks you this, you're forced to think about it. It's not something I thought about when we were working together, because there we were playing characters. There was a give and take, there was action and reaction. Um, but we were flowing very easily with each other. I think so. If you ask me about energy exchange, I think we were aligned, we were in sync. And when I say we were aligned, we were aligned to the scene and what we were expected to do in it, not aligned with each other as Shefali and Vidya.
And Vidya, we had this conversation right after Sherni, how beautifully it was crafted, what difficult, how different the film was. And Shefali, you are on a roll, be it Delhi crime, be it human, and we have been having this constant discussions. Uh, what does it say? And now Jalsa, of course. So what does it say then about content creation, content consumption, and therefore, does it kind of unnerve you as an artist, or is it all satisfying?
Oh my God, it's liberating. It doesn't unnerve me at all. I mean, I am so happy that content is being given priority. I'm so, and while makers are giving it the importance it always deserves, the fact that audiences are taking it in kind of reinforces that belief, which is great. I mean, the kind of scripts, the kind of roles that are being written, it's just amazing. And it's an amazing time for women. It's I've never been in a better place myself, where I'm getting age appropriate roles, where there are these strong, full-fledged, like succulent characters. Yeah. So I think it's great. It's not at all intimidating. If anything, it's liberating. And it's like, wow, fantastic.
But come on, and the next project has to be equally good. So in that sense, it doesn't unnerve you at all, Vidya?
No, it doesn't, because I only do something when I'm completely convinced about it, or when I believe in it. And then, only then am I able to give it my best. And I've realized that that's all you can do. I can do my best and I can hope that the team I'm working with does its best. But beyond that, it's not in my control, what people like or dislike. But the hope is that because I connect with it as a human being, therefore, as a member of the audience, that other people will also connect with it. But beyond that, you just don't know. For example, even from one film, there are different, from Jalsa, let's talk of Jalsa, different people are relating to different things in the film.
Yeah.
So that tells you that your audience is so varied. And today, I think that's where, when we talk about content creation, you cannot take your audiences for granted anymore. You cannot, use a brush stroke and say that, the audiences need a certain type of film. Only then will they come to the theaters, or only then will they watch it. Today, your audience is really smart and astute.
True.
Also, they are exposed to all kinds of content from all over the world. So they are hungry for more. They are not going to settle for your, convenient tropes. They're looking for something juicy and exciting and new.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we've all as an industry, we've had to up our game.
Yeah, of course, upping your game. And when it comes to OTT space, because not just films, I'm talking about web series also. Every web series, the content creation and uske मायने ही change हो गया, because every episode at the end of the day, you have to have a hook for you to get led to the next one. So according to that, does the craft of a performer also, does it change?
It gives you a great canvas to play with, because you have 5 hours or 8 hours of film to create that character, unlike a short period of film, which is 2.5 hours. And but at the same time, the work required is tremendous. It's another level of hard work that goes into it. And I'm just talking about the physical, because it's like you have to remember Delhi Crime was 800 pages. You have to remember that. Not in terms of lines, so you'll get the sides. But for me to know my trajectory from the word go till where I've reached, I have to remember that. And DC was a very amazing learning curve for me, because I couldn't have had it tougher and better as learning it. And I loved it, because it was not only 8 hours of film, it was also a story of 5 days. So her mental state, starting from that moment she goes to the hospital till the last moment of the last scene of the show, it had to be spoken for, at least for me. When was the last time she had a crack in the face? When was the last time she slept for 5 minutes? Did she have a power nap? When was the last time she had a coffee that gave her an adrenaline rush? What was the last conversation she had with X character in episode 2, and what all has happened in the next four to reach episode 6, and now where does she stand as far as the relationship with this person goes? So it is a lot to grasp.
True.
And I realized the way I worked on DC script now has become my way of working for everything I do. So when I look back, I feel, what was I doing? What was I even doing in the name of following my passion? At the same time, there's a very strange thing, because I remember I think Ajib Dasta after DC, and I was doing the same kind of work, and Vipul said a very nice thing to me. I said, but I don't feel I'm putting it enough. And he says, every project, which is a fact, every project is going to require a different way of working.
Right.
It's going to ask for something else from you. But talking about OTT, it's a huge canvas for you as an actor to paint the nuances, the depths, like really dwell into creating this character. At the same time, it's a lot of hard work.
What is the biggest compliment you have got for Jalsa? Is there anything that really surprised you?
No, but I think everyone who messages me also messages me about Shefali, also messages me about Suresh and Surya and the entire cast.
Yeah.
And that is, also they mentioned sound design and cinematography.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and the
wow.
BGM.
Yeah. So, I'm like, wow. It's like, as a composite, it's worked as a whole.
Yeah.
That's very rare. That's
And
very, very rare.
And it's not a surprise, because we knew the kind of team we had. But for people to sit up and take notice of everything and acknowledge it, it means they've really invested in this film.
And the kinds of things that people are saying, Shefali, like one woman told me, one woman messaged me and said that, it's so interesting that, but I don't know whether to say this in the interview for those who've not watched it, but it's okay now, that the same car that causes the accident traps her later.
Wow.
She runs over someone else's child, and here she's trapped in the car and is not able to get to her child.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That is
all kinds of
amazing.
very deep and personal things. People are sharing amazing things with us.
True.
And I had someone tell me that, I'm not in the same situation, but I've gone through this kind of moral dilemma in life, not in an accident, but some other situation. And your film just made me feel better about myself, because I know that it's okay, even if I didn't do the right thing. I'm human. And I was like, wow.
True. I want to tell you a surprising reaction that I got. So after the film, my sons had come to watch the film. So they saw the film, and after that, we were sitting and talking about it later in the night. And they said, Mom, my 20-year-old tells me this. He said, I couldn't believe you were going to kill a child. And I couldn't believe you took me to watch you do it. It's like, I found it very funny. I was like,
And
he
your
was
response
really
was?
shaken.
And your response was, as a mother,
I
not
don't know,
as an
I think
artist. As a mother, not as an artist.
Yeah, I just like, we were just having a conversation, but it bothered him. It really troubled him.
Thank you for your time and all your answers sums up. It leads me to the question that I was seeking out in the first question itself. Because we have this OTT space and because we have content that is ever evolving, we are coming to a space where narrating these stories, accepting them, and because we have a huge palette, we have the audience who are willing to appreciate such projects.
True.
True.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much. More power to
Thank you,
you.
Prathamesh.
Thank you, Prathamesh. Thanks. Yeah. True.
Subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon and never miss an update from Latestly.